A few weeks ago, when my parents forced me to clean my cupboard, I found this. According to a definition on the internet, a Rubik's Cube is a plastic cube covered in multicolored squares, which a player attempts to twist and turn so that all the squares on each face are of the same color. Isn't that what we're all trying to do? Playing endlessly to solve the puzzle that is our life, so that maybe, just maybe, all the little squares come perfectly together? But this was a constant reminder of how I had failed everyone. Let me give you a little backstory. When I was 6 years old, my parents put me in a Rubik's Cube workshop. I was excited like every other child there. But that feeling soon disappeared when I saw how good the other kids were. And there I was, struggling to even get a single color on one side. So, I went home that day and came up with a multitude of reasons to hide my incompetence at even the smallest of things. I was convinced I need not beat myself up about such an insignificant ordeal. So, that was the first time I gave up, quit, and didn't look back. But now, looking back, I realized that this cube was where this vicious cycle started. When I was 8 years old, my dad removed the training wheels from my cycle. It was my first time cycling without those, so naturally I fell. But I didn't get back up and cycle again. Instead, just like the Rubik's Cube, I felt it better to give up and not care. So, once again, I gave up, quit, and didn't look back. When I was 10 years old, I used to play chess. I was really good and won a few trophies. But in the last few competitions, I entered a losing streak and entered a slump. So, once again, what did I do? Give up, quit, didn't look back. Before I knew it, it happened again and again and again. Didn't paint a picture perfectly, give up, quit, didn't look back. Didn't hit the perfect smash the first time I played badminton, gave up, quit, didn't look back. I never touched either of those things again. Before I knew it, this became an unconscious but familiar habit, like a second nature. Whenever even the slightest inconvenience occurred, what did Moksha do? Give up, quit, didn't look back. And there this cube was, resting in the palm of my hands, reminding me of everything I ever gave up on, even the smallest of things. As I held this cube in my hand, it all came flooding back. The memories, the failures, the incomplete stories left to write themselves. All of it. So, I took a deep breath and pushed it all back in. The thoughts to the back of my mind and the cube to the back of the cupboard. And just as I was about to do it, never to see it again, I looked in the mirror. The girl in the mirror stared back at me. I hated her, despised her. She was a coward crushing under the mountain of burden she built for herself over the years. But I had conditioned myself to not care anymore. I had gotten to the point where I could again very easily ignore it. So I repeated the same cycle in grade 10. Hiding from things I believed weren't worth my time. Running away from academics. Going out, having fun, partying, all with the juvenile mentality of you only live once. All while the phrases give up, quit, don't look back echoed in the back of my mind. It was all I could hear anymore. I realized that I had already given up on classes and gradually school too. I had gotten into the bad books of every teacher possible. I can see a few teachers here agreeing with me. But it all came back to me. Of course it did. And when it did, I was standing alone in the grave of misery that I dug for myself. My prelim marks hit me like a truck. I barely passed in any subjects and it crushed me. I had access and opportunities that so many other way more deserving people didn't. And I somehow still messed it up. Who supported you? I asked myself. Who believed in you? My parents, my teachers, and everyone who invested so much in me. And I let them all down. But mostly, I let myself down. Well done, Moksha, I said. As I sat in my room, buried in my defeat, the girl in the mirror called out to me. She told me she was tired of running away. She was tired of hiding behind the shadows. It made me think. I had already hit rock bottom. What was the worst that could happen to me now? Well, I realized that it was the hate and the self-condemnation of hell that I created for myself that made me live in pain. I realized that I didn't hate the girl in the mirror. In fact, the girl in the mirror was me. I was the girl in the mirror. So really, I just hated myself all along. Once I accepted that, along with all my flaws, the path up was much easier. My flaws didn't make me weak. They made me stronger. They gave me a room full of potential to grow. That's it. Ever since that realization, I have been growing. As for the girl in the mirror, well, we're friends now. I don't hate her anymore. In fact, she makes me stronger because she grows with me every day. And she is the one who gets me back up when I'm down. As for my fear of failure, I decided to start from the place where it all began. The Rubik's Cube. I saw a couple of YouTube videos and spent hours practicing. And just like that, I could solve this cube just as easily as anyone else. It gave me a newfound sense of confidence. If I could solve this cube, maybe I could solve the cube of my life. Maybe not, but at least it's something, a start. This time, I didn't give up and quit. This time, I looked back and tried again. And the same Rubik's Cube that made me afraid of failing is the one that made me try new things. Well, I'm so glad that this cycle finally closed a chapter in my life. Thank you.